Hello everybody, today I want to talk to you about the pros and cons of living in Paraguay. The first pro of living in Paraguay is that it's cheap. $1 counts for 8,000 guaranis. You can easily get a nice apartment for $400 to $500 a month, even if you use Airbnb. If you want to live in an upscale neighborhood like I do, say Villa Mora, the most upscale neighborhood, where the president himself goes out to eat, you can still get it done for $600 a month. That's all I paid. Now the cost of living is low. You can get a nice steak for $20. You can get a dinner for $30 to $40 easily. If you're careful, you can live here for $1,000 a month, $1,500 if you really want to splurge. But of course, you want to spend more. If you want to spend more, you want to go out to restaurants all the time. You can get it all done for under $2,000, no problem. Then the other advantage of Paraguay is that the immigration policy is not particularly strict. That, if you overstay your 90 days, generally you pay a fine and then you're okay. You're not going to get banned from the country. And if you want, you can do border runs. For example, if you live in Asuncion, Argentina is just 30 minutes away. You can get on a taxi, leave, come back the next day or even the same day. If you have a couple of passports, Paraguay will probably let it slide. They'll give you another 90 days. Even if you want to use the same passport, they're probably not gonna scrutinize you all that much. So the immigration policy is not strict. And even if you stay here illegally, yes, you'll pay fines. Yes, the police may give you a hard time, and so on and so on. But your chances of getting deported are slim to none. This is not the European Union. This is not the United States. It's not Canada. So deportation is not an issue. And if you stay in Asuncion illegally, which I'm not advocating, I'm not recommending, you're not going to have much of a problem with the police. Another advantage is that expats are still rare here. So you'll be noticed, you will be meeting a lot of interesting people. You will be seen as a high status person because by Paraguayan metrics, you will be a high income earner, and Paraguayans don't have very many negative experiences with Americans or Europeans or Canadians because they just don't have a geopolitical problem with Americans. Now, if you ask them about Argentinians or Brazilians, well, yeah, they've had historical problems with them. There was the War of the Triple Alliance where Paraguay lost a lot of territory. You may see some anti-Brazilian or anti-Argentinian sentiment. But as for Americans, Europeans, Paraguayans really have nothing against them. They're not like Mexicans who say, oh, there was a saying there, that we're so far from God, but so close to the US. No wonder Mexico lost a lot of territory in the Mexican-American War. Paraguay never had any such problems at all. So you can expect nothing but hospitable, friendly, and approachable people who are genuinely curious and respectful and really do like foreigners. Now, let's talk about the cons. The main con of Paraguay, I would say, is that this country is still developing. That, a lot of houses don't have numbers, a lot of streets don't have names. If you want to meet with somebody, they can't just give you a simple house number or a street number. They'll just send you a location on Google and expect you to find it, and that's not always going to work with Uber. And Uber will leave you like 3 blocks away. That happens. So another disadvantage is that Paraguay does not have much of a middle class, really. And that means that you really need to live in a rich neighborhood. If you don't live in a rich neighborhood, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb, and that may make you a victim for a crime, such as armed robbery. And again, as foreigners stick out so much, they really need to be careful. But in the grand scheme of things, despite that there's some danger here, that not every neighborhood is nice, you're still much, much safer here than most places in Latin America. Paraguay is much safer than Brazil, much safer than Argentina, much safer than Chile, and much safer than Uruguay, even still. So crime is an issue, but it's not a huge issue. And finally, the last con is that the climate. God, it's scorching heat, hotter than hell. We're about to enter the summer, the peak season of the summer in January. And believe me, it's going to be over 100 Fahrenheit, over 45 Celsius. But that's something to get used to. The winters are cool and nice and great. Everybody likes the winters, but the summers are hotter than hell. So these are my pros and cons, guys. Let me know your thoughts. and feel free to book your free consultation today. 30 minutes free.